First off in the news, we're here in Cebu City. A foreigner shot by range 999 dies. I guess he is a rapper. And I haven't been able to find a lot of information about this story. I'm told that on some of the groups and Facebook and such, there's a lot of discussions, people talking about maybe this, maybe this. Anyway, murder charges were filed against Cebuano rapper Andrew Solero, also known as Range 999, as the foreigner he shot during a scuffle on March 19th died Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. The American national Michael George Riche, 37, died past 6 p.m. Tuesday. Riche sustained gunshot wounds in his shoulder and thigh. They will amend the case file against Range 999 from frustrated murder to murder following the death of Riche. Police have also identified the man who was seen on CCTV kicking the American national before the shooting happened. Story 2. Pro 7 will deploy cops to secure Holy Week this Friday. Now, Holy Week, the Christian holidays of Easter and the days before, are some of the most important here in the Philippines. You have Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, Black Saturday, Easter Sunday, and Easter Monday. And one of the only times that you will find that malls are closed here in the Philippines on one or two of those days, and it will vary by where you are in the Philippines. Different malls will be closed on different days, is what I've observed in the past. Anyway, that will be in March 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, and then Easter Monday is April 1st. So just be aware of that. There will be, if you're planning on traveling, there will be millions of people traveling. It's one of those holidays where millions of Filipinos travel and spend time with their family and at church and those sorts of things. So keep that in mind. Story 3, delivery rider sues man for replacing wine with water. What a deal. 44-year-old man was charged with estafa after tricking a delivery driver by filling a 1-liter Johnny Walker Double Black with water instead of alcohol. He did this using the Maxim delivery app. Maxim is one of the motorcycle hobble motorcycle taxi delivery and rider systems here in the Philippines. The booking was accepted by 25-year-old rider Charles Spencer. He's married and had it delivered to Shopwise Membling. Not sure what being married had anything to do with it. But when he got there, no one came out to take the package, raising doubts that he had been tricked. He looked into the bottle and saw that it was filled with colored water that had been colored and made to look like wine. Good news for those of you on the with the U.S. dollar is that the exchange rate remains relatively high, 56.13 pesos per the U.S. dollar. When I came here in 2015, it was 48, and I get texts and messages from people that they were here when it was in the lower 40s as well. So we're doing fairly well. Your money goes further. And here's a chart with other currencies if you want to go across and look at those from other countries. The bad news is that inflation remains relatively high, especially if you're purchasing imported goods. With the issues in the Middle East with ships taking the long route around Africa, takes much longer. With the Panama Canal, might have some issues with the lower water. They can't haul as much to go through the Panama Canal because of low water levels. Shipping costs have gone up substantially over the last several months, and therefore it costs more to ship goods, some of the goods that arrive here in the Philippines. Imported foods, coffees, extra virgin olive oil, just to name a few. Story number 3, Philippines' second happiest country in Southeast Asia, according to recent poll in this report. And there's a difference how we all find happiness in different ways. So it's interesting. Polls come out asks questions certain ways. But anyway, let's get into that's a discussion for another time. Let's get into the report here. The Philippines is the second happiest country in Southeast Asia, according to the annual World Happiness Report released by the University of Oxford's Wellbeing Research Centre in the UK. Of 143 states, the Philippines standing improved to 53 from last year's 76 out of 137 countries. Respondents evaluated their current life as a whole from a score of 0 to 10, with 10 being the highest. The latest ranking is almost similar to Philippines' 52nd ranking in the 2020 report, which included data before COVID-19 pandemic. In the 7th consecutive year, Finland topped the list, followed by Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and Israel. Found to be the least happy, can you believe it? Afghanistan, Lebanon, Sierra Leone, Congo, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, Eswatini, and Zambia. In Southeast Asia, Singapore ranked first or 30th overall. Following the Philippines were Vietnam 54th, Thailand 58th, Malaysia 59th, Indonesia 80th, Laos 94th, Myanmar 118th, and Cambodia 119th. That's interesting. The report used 3-year data from the Gallup World Poll, published in partnership with Gallup and the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Global happiness inequality has increased by more than 20% over the past dozen years in all regions and age groups, to an extent that differs a lot by age and by region. Very key point there. It's going to differ a lot by age group and by region. So, in polls like this are somewhat meaningless. And then I guess another note that I would take is, contentment, like Finland, a lot of the Scandinavian countries ranked very high. Contentment and happiness can be two different things. So it depends upon how you're defining them and how you're measuring them. Several of the Scandinavian countries, like Finland, Sweden, Norway, I believe they have relatively high taxes you pay into, and then you get free medical, free education, free this and that, and although it's not really free, obviously you're paying in, and that's a choice the citizens make. Those choices. Do we want to pay in large amounts of our income and have these things taken care of and not have to worry about it? So that is a system worth debating. Next story, another set of Kush, I think, which is purified marijuana, something like that. We'll read further about it. Worth 158 million pesos, concealed in Balikbayan boxes, has been seized at customs. Many of you have used Balikbayan boxes, and I know a number of years, 2016, I think, they started opening a lot more of the boxes. There was kind of an uproar and protest against that, and but I think they do x-ray all Balikbayan boxes that come in through customs. Balikbayan is a relatively cheap way to ship boxes of a number of different sizes into the Philippines, and people ship anything and everything in those boxes, and I've done videos about Balikbayan boxes, and anyway, the Bureau of Customs was able to seize Kush, or dried marijuana leaves again, this time worth boxes coming from Thailand. Originally, the shipment was declared as consolidated Balikbayan boxes and personal effects from Thailand, but we've already seen this modus before. So after vetting the information that we received, we immediately went to work to thwart the smuggling activity. Apparently they were tipped off. The next story from Cebu Digital News, I believe, part of the Inquirer. Government eyes 200 new ferry ports by 2028 to connect remote islands. And that's something that I've seen evolving in the in the 8 years that I've been here. This is a row-row ferry, what's called roll-on, roll-off, and they've got a drop down either in the front or the back or both, and you can load vehicles on here, and then they'll oftentimes, not always, have a passenger area as well. The government plans to build 200 new seaports by 2028. These ports aim to connect remote islands, boost their economies, and enhance disaster resilience. We call it social tourism and farm to market ports. We would like to connect these remote islands to bigger island economies for their economic growth. And at the present time, if you want to visit the smaller islands, you usually have to take the smaller motor bancas that have outriggers off to the side. And I've done that, and I kind of enjoy that as well. Jumping back over to Phil Star Digital, 8 to 11 typhoons to enter the PAR. PAR stands for Philippine Area of Responsibility. And that is that red box. You see the Philippines here, and the red box is the Philippine Area of Responsibility. And what happens, 99% of the time, these typhoons come in from the east, and even if they just hit the corner up here, the Philippines changes the name. There's an international name out here, and the Philippines changes the name, and when it leaves this red box, it goes back to the international name. It can be quite confusing, but the Philippine Area of Responsibility even includes Taiwan up here. 8 to 11 typhoons are expected to enter the country this year, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Service Administration, PAGASA. PAGASA weather specialist Ruzi Bastilos told a press conference that one typhoon is expected in April, 1 to 2 in May and June, and 2 to 3 from July to September. A slight delay of the rainy season is possible amid the developing La Nina. We're presently in an El Nino, and then we're going to go back to a La Nina, supposedly later this season. Next story, gunmen shoot at Bucor's chief's car on Skyway. This is up in Manila area, metropolitan area. Looks like this is they travel in vehicles with bulletproof glass. Looks like this is where the bullet hit, apparently, and this is something, there are shootings in the Philippines. My observation over 8 years is that they're usually political related, they're grudge related, maybe drug related type things. Anyway, unidentified assailant shot at a vehicle owned by Bureau of Corrections Chief Giorgio Catapang Jr. as it was on its way to pick up Bucar Deputy Chief Al Pereiras in Quezon City. According to the Bureau, the assailants fired at the Toyota Hilux as it was passing through the Skyway at around 6:30 a.m. Catapang agreed with observations that the gunmen appeared to be professionals who appeared to have tested the type of ammunition that could penetrate the bulletproof vehicle. The Bucor said the assailants in a gray Toyota Vios overtook the backup car, which was driven by two other security escorts, and opened fire. Boy, that takes balls. Rear windshield was hit and shattered, but the bullet was not able to penetrate the vehicle. And the next story, DA starts cloud seeding amid El Nino. It's called It's called man changing the weather, and it's been going on for decades and decades. Anyway, Manila cloud seeding operations have been conducted over Cagayan Valley, which is in the north of Luzon Island, to cushion the effects of the strong El Nino. Sodium chloride was scattered on cloud formations 4,500 feet above the ground in targeted areas. This can cushion the impact of El Nino. Crops need the precipitation and cooling effect of the rain. And the last item I want to discuss here today, I've seemed to have noticed, here it is, the end of March almost, and there's a lot more foreigners in town than I can remember in previous years in March. Now we're still in the high season. It'll start waning off April pretty much. A lot of people will go back home to the northern hemisphere where the spring is coming on. But I've talked to a number of restaurant owners, bar owners, hotel people, and there's still a lot of vacancies and deals to be had out there. But what I'm hearing is that because of the travel restrictions for 2 years, there more people are staying longer. Once they finally got to the Philippines, they're extending their vacation. They're staying longer, and eventually they're going to go home. The tourists, the expats are one other thing, but I know I've met a number of expats over the years and would see them regularly, different places, and then I didn't see them for a couple months, and I come across a couple the other day, and they said, "Well, yeah, we went to Bantayan Island for a couple of months or so." They travel. They travel around the Philippines or maybe other Southeast Asian countries. Anyway, we're going into our slower season, and there should be many good deals coming up in the resorts, the hotels, the condominiums, the Airbnbs. So anyway, if you haven't traveled here yet, think about that. Airfares is one thing, other issues, but it's so easy to come into the Philippines, stay on a tourist visa, up to 3 years, 36 months, and a lot to see and do here. No reason to be bored here. Anyway, thanks for coming along. Stay safe, stay healthy, safe travels, and I'll see you next time.